My Burbank Talks presents another edition of The Week That Was and The Week That Will Be, a weekly podcast featuring highlights and commentary on local events and issues taking place right here in Burbank. Now, let's see what's on today's agenda as we join our program.
Hello, Burbank. Craig Sherwood here with you once again for another edition of The Week That Was and The Week That Will Be. I'm coming to you once again from the command center here at my Burbank, and let's hope we got some information you might enjoy this week. Of course, we always start off with last week's winner, and last week's winner was Dave Satum. Dave is the winner of a $25 gift certificate to Hill Street Cafe over on Glen Oaks. And as we know, they make most of their own ingredients there. It's a great place to stop by. It's Burbank's hidden treasure. Take some time, stop by, grab a meal. Great breakfast, great lunch. They have dinners on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. So we're going to have that $25 gift certificate to Dave Satum. We'll have another word of the week later in the show. So if you'd like to have a chance to win a gift card for next week, stay tuned. One announcement we also have is that we're going to have we are now officially taking requests for Meet the Candidate podcasts. So if you are a candidate for a Burbank office, the rule is if your name appears on a Burbank ballot, we will be more than happy to do a podcast with you and let the voters hear your story. So give me an email at news@myburbank.com and let me know who you are, and we will set up a time to have a podcast with you. So we are now getting into election season. So, holy cow, you know it's football season coming up. No, it's election season. Okay. Let's get into last Tuesday and the city council meetings. So, one of the things they did on the consent agenda was they passed the urgency ordinance for no fault evictions. And that now includes 3 months of rent to help somebody out who is evicted. You can call the city if you're in that situation and you're having a problem. You can call the city, you can call the city attorney's office who will enforce it and make sure that your rights are taken care of. So that's a good thing. Once again, that's a tough subject because landlords and tenants both struggle at times. This is not a one-way thing. This is not good guy versus bad guy. This is two good guys. Occasionally, though, you get the bad guys this might be the corporate guys who come in here and want to just take over a whole building and throw everybody out. Well, hopefully now things will be a little different if that's the case. So, I don't think the big problem is with the mom and pop landlords. I think the problem is with the corporations who come in here and think they can take things over. So, anyhow, let's move on. The council also talked about a workforce pay requirement. It's we want to see people paid well, no doubt about it. As we all know, fast food workers are now making $20 an hour, and rightly so. I mean, for a long time, they were the ones who really didn't get much of anything. So I'm happy for them. I think $20 an hour is a fair wage. Lord knows what it's like to have to deal with the public every day. So I think that's a good resolution for them. But when it comes down to building, that's a different thing. And of course, we want to have union labor. We have projects in Burbank. We want to have a union labor. We want to have people paid well and everything else. And so while the city is going to look at that a little further, one of the things they did bring up at the meeting was maybe instead of, trying to, while it may cost the developer more money to pay people with, union wages, maybe the city council save them money by making the process for permits, for inspections, for all those things to speed up. Because sometimes these projects are taking years. Look at the project of Fry's. Where's that at? I mean, that's been brought to the city over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. What's going on with it? Is it just, it's just stuck? And a lot of that has to do with the city, just not streamlining. It's really nobody's fault, but it's on the other hand, that's money to develop. Every day a developer does not have his project open or available to rent or whatever, that's the day it costs that developer money. Because they buy the land and they still got to make the payments to the bank, or whatever the situation is. If they're not building, they're not making money. So hopefully that'll be something that the city can look at. Yeah, we can make sure the rates are good for the workers, but we can also streamline the process to make sure that the developers do things a lot quicker, and we'll save actually probably more money in the long run that way. So that could be a win-win if it's done right. Something else that came up was a report on what they call Vision Zero. Now I look at Vision Zero, and I'm thinking Vision Zero. What is near side or far side? Who knows what that is? But it's basically the State for Streets plan for Burbank. They brought up some interesting things in the meeting, which I thought were worth looking at. So I'm going to bring some up on the computer here and let you take a look at them. Okay. This is interesting in the fact that they put out a PowerPoint, and in the PowerPoint, it gave some stats, such as in the last 4 years, 2018 to 2022, that there were 3,835 collisions in Burbank. And of those, a little over 19, close to 2,000, but actually a little over 2,000 maybe, is 55% of the collisions resulted in an injury. Not good. And 105 of those collisions resulted in a fatality or a serious injury. They call that a KSI. Not sure what KSI actually stands for, but that's what they call a KSI. And 15 of the 105 collisions that were serious were fatalities. So that's kind of a lot of things. So 2,123 collisions had some injury, and that was basically their analysis based on that. This is also interesting. If you look at this graphic here, vehicle injuries and vehicle accidents were 76%. Pedestrian accidents were 10%. Bikes 8%, and motorcycles are 6%. I would have thought that the motorcycles would have been a higher number. But even so, you're looking at the fact that 10% of pedestrians involved in that. And let's face it, how many of those pedestrians are looking at their phone? They're not watching what's going on. How many times have you walked across the street or driven down the street and a pedestrian walks across, they're looking down at their phone? I think you've got to be looking at cars in both directions the entire time. You can't just assume people are just looking for you. You've got to look for people also. But the fact that did come out on this was 29% of the serious collisions did involve motorcycles. So, and 26 involved pedestrians. So those are some high numbers there. Let's move on a little more here. They actually had a map of where every accident was, with the red dots being the serious ones, the green dots being the less serious ones. I also found this interesting, that this shows where the schools are. And let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. I can blow it up a whole lot, in fact. Maybe too much. If you look at some of the streets that are in the darkest red, kind of near Burbank High School, you have a few. But I found this near Providencia, Joaquin Miller Elementary School up here. A lot of accidents. And that's a little bit concerning in itself, up on Providencia. Magnolia Park down in this area is rampant with accidents. So if you look at the map of the city where most of the heavy accidents are, yeah, it's a lot in the traffic areas, but some of these areas are very surprised. Let's move on a little farther. That kind of gives you a little more of a close-up of downtown Burbank and shows you the darker the red, the worse the accident, the worse the accident is, and really the problem areas. Of course, Glen Oaks is a bad area. A little surprised that San Fernando was so bad, but there's probably a lot of pedestrian accidents with all of the shops and businesses down there. You look at what are we looking at here? We're looking at the middle of the city, and once again, Hollywood Way is probably the worst, but once again, Hollywood Way has the traffic for the airport, and that's about it. So you look at some of that stuff there, and you have to wonder. You have to kind of wonder a little bit. There, we'll get back with you here. I think you have to worry. There's a serious problem here with driving. I don't know what the solution is. They're going to try to come up with solutions. Of course, I think, speed is the main concern. People are going too fast. People are in a hurry. Do you really need to get there that fast? Do you really need to get there that fast? How many times have I been passed by a car when I'm going 35 down the street, and by the time I get to the next signal, I caught right back up to that person who was going 50? It's the signals are going to stop you. And if you are that much of disregard for the speed limit, then you may be a disregard for the signals, and that's where these accidents are coming from. So that's just a matter of slowing down. It's a matter of just, common respect. I don't know how we teach common respect, though. I don't know. I would hope that we have some self-mechanisms. I would hope that our parents taught us well. I would hope that we have pride in our city and what we do here. But, we can't have a cop on every street. They'll be writing tickets all day long. They're going to enforce crime because they're writing tickets the entire time. We can hire 100 officers, and they can write tickets all day long. Well, is that really the solution? Well, the solution is to take a little personal responsibility. That sometimes goes a long way. Okay, let's move on to the city council meeting a little bit. City council, they approved $300,000 to entice gun owners to leave the business. There was a report that 4 gun store owners had expressed some interest. 2 of them just have quit already on their own, and 2 may take a $150,000 payout each to leave. So if that happens, we're down to about 10 gun stores. So it reduces the number, and, in all honesty, probably money well spent. Once again, nobody's trying to take away your guns. Nobody's against the Second Amendment. It's just, do we need that many gun stores in Burbank? Do we need to be the gun store capital of the world? I like the media capital of the world a whole lot better. Okay. On Thursday, the city of Burbank held a media industry expo and job fair. It was at Woodbury University, and it turned out thousands of people were in attendance. Arlene Lipinski and Ross Benson were there to shoot some pictures. Let's see here if we can bring that up for you. There's our story we did on it, and you can see there's a lot of people there, a lot of booths, a lot of different things. What the great aspect of it, though. Whoops. Let's start again. Ross Benson wasn't there. On Thursday, the city of Burbank held a job fair, but not just any kind of job fair. It was a media industry expo and job fair. As a Woodbury University, easy for me to say. Thousands of people showed up at that because media industry jobs are coveted. Arlene Lipinski was there and did a great story that we have on our site. Let's see if I can bring that up for you guys. There we go. As you can see, it was nice and spread out. There's all sorts of media people there. And not just media people, we're not looking for directors and producers and those type of people. But there's all types of jobs. All types of jobs there. So there's the jobs on the set, of course. But you've also got your jobs that are behind the scenes, especially your jobs if you're young and you can run a computer and you understand graphics. CGI, okay, computer-generated graphics are amazing. And they need people to put this stuff together. And if you look at a movie with special effects, sci-fi movie, things like that, you're going to see, close probably 500 people who worked on that movie doing effects. And it takes a long time to get those effects done. So there's a huge demand. But, look at the jobs in the studios. Not only the fact, like I say, the on-set people, but you have the set construction people. You've got the caterers, the editors. Lots of jobs are part of the media industry. And those are all jobs that people are looking for. Like I say, they're all coveted jobs. So it's something that I think it's something that people can look at and they get their foot in the door. Those are all high-paying jobs. There's no minimum wage jobs in the entertainment industry. And you're taken care of very well, depending on where you wind up. You get on a set, if you're looking at not only working all day with, probably a 10, 12-hour day, but you're looking at meals too. Good, you're in a union, probably good health benefits. So, a lot to be done. Even if you're just a driver working with the Teamsters, you're making good money. So, a lot of jobs there. That was nice the city put that on. I hope some people found some good jobs and everything else, or at least some leads. Because our economy, people need to get those jobs, those leads. Thursday night, there was a school board meeting. And the big item was that Steve Ferguson sent in a letter of resignation. We had commented in the past that he had missed 7 meetings so far this year. And the last meeting, he just showed up for 10, 15 minutes. And as soon as the oral communication was over, he said, I don't feel when he left. Well, he got his $500 paycheck for the month for doing that. And now he just sent a letter in, of course, with school starting in about a week. And he sent a letter in just saying, that's it, I'm done. It was a nice, heartfelt letter, but it didn't really say why. And to me, when you run for office, you're not doing it, hopefully you're not doing it for the money, but you're not doing it for any other reason except you want to serve. So why he couldn't last another 3 or 4 months is beyond me. What I found interesting also was after the school board president read the letter he sent, she just read it as a matter-of-fact type thing. There was not one comment by one person there about it. Nobody said, we wish him well, or hey, that's too bad, or nothing. Not a word. It was like, okay, he resigned. What's next? And I was just thinking that kind of shows the tension I think that's on the board right now with some people. I don't know what's going on there. It's a very tough board to deal with in many ways. But at least our superintendent and now our acting assistant superintendent have things under control, are doing a great job. So hopefully there's light somewhere at the end of that dark tunnel. Hopefully. But elections are coming up, so we'll see what happens there. And And when Steve Ferguson was up for re-election, now he's not, so that's one seat gone. And there's 2 more that are still up for election also. So hopefully we can put people on that board who are going to turn things around. Okay. Well, that's kind of it for the week that was. Mostly good, a little bad, but mostly good. So, well, once again, in the summertime, not so much going on really, so we kind of look for things. There's not as much as once you get going in the regular year. So a lot of people are on vacation, and a lot of boards and commissions take the weeks off and the month off in July and sometimes in August. So hopefully we will have a little more news on a weekly basis for that. So anyhow, let's take our first commercial break here, or our only commercial break, and we'll be back in a second with the week that will be.
Enjoying the show right now? Think you may want to do your own podcast? Well, My Burbank Talks is renting out our podcast studio on an hourly rate. You and your guests can record audio podcasts or both audio and video. We'll help you get set up on podcast platforms and even your own YouTube channel. We can also edit your productions to make you look and sound your very best. If interested, please drop us an email at studiorentals@myburbank.com. That's studiorentals@myburbank.com. Now, back to our show.
Okay, we are back with you. And here it is, Monday, and it's August 5th, and that's the day we record the show. So, what's going on this week with the week that will be? To start with, we found out today that Burbank's Chief Information Officer, Kevin Gray, has announced he's leaving the city of Burbank for a new opportunity in a similar position at Metrolink. He is actually one of the architects and the people behind Burbank's 311 app, which is an amazing app and does great things, and it's really streamlined a lot of things, with permits, graffiti removal, large item, bulky item pickup, just a lot of things that make it easier to do. You have to call somebody. You can actually just get on the app and do things, and also it saves the city time of that manpower as far as answering phones and all that stuff too. So it's kind of a win-win. So we wish him well. He's off to Metrolink. Metrolink's a whole lot bigger than the city of Burbank, and I'm sure that has its challenges there, but they've got a good person there, so we wish him well. Also today, Kim Clark, our city clerk, sent out a reminder today about the upcoming city council elections. And want to remind everybody that the nomination process, which is, you turn your papers in, it ends by this coming Friday. The only exception is that if an incumbent does not file his papers, you have an extra week. Well, we already know that Nick Schultz, as an incumbent, is not going to file his papers because he's running for the assembly seat in Burbank. So we already know for a fact that it'll be an extra week. But what I did find out interesting in her note today was that one incumbent has taken out the papers. She didn't say file them yet, but take all the papers. That means Constantine Anthony, who is the other council member up for re-election, or his seat, comes to an end this December, has taken out papers for re-election. So he had said at one time in a council meeting that he was not going to run. Now I guess he is going to run. And you know what? What people decide to do, as long as he's doing it for the right reason, I have no problems. Everybody can change their mind. Maybe they change their situation, their living situation, whatever it is, to make things work. You can always make that decision. It's not something that's in stone. So hopefully we will see if once he files his papers and we get a list of all the candidates who have filed. Seems to have I see 5-6 candidates who are going to be for those 2 seats. As the school board has 3 seats this year, city council has 2 seats. With the school board, though, they put themselves in districts, and I can't find a map anywhere on their website to know what district is what. There's nothing by the the board members' names that says what district they represent. I have no idea what that's all. That's all just nonsense over there as far as trying to figure out what they're trying to do. But they did take Steve Ferguson's picture off their website, so they do respond to stuff pretty fast on that account. But the school board's put out no statements yet about who's running, what districts are available, anything else. I think people will be a little surprised that 2/5 of the Burbank population will not be able to vote for one school board candidate. While there's 3 seats up, 2/5 of the city are going to be left out of the school board election entirely. I don't understand why they went to districts. I think everybody should be represented by every school board member or by every city council member. The Burbank City Council had that threat at one time. They called the bluff, and all of a sudden that went away. We've never found out whoever Nick Gutierrez ever was who filed that complaint with the city. It seems to have been an empty threat. And, hats off to the city council for recognizing that and standing up to the bully. School district? Can't say that much. So, if we find out anything about the school district elections, we'll let you know. But so far, it's a black hole. What else happened today? Let's see. Arts and Public Places, they met today at 6 o'clock, and they talked about the mural public art project. They're working on a mural at McCambridge Park to replace, I guess, the one that was in there. I don't think they're going to fix it up. I think they're probably going to come up with a whole new one, because I think that one that was in there is pretty old. I know one time I was watching the old emergency television show with Gage DeSoto, and they had a first aid run at McCambridge Park, and in the back wall you could see that mural in there. So that was easily 40 years ago, probably. So it's been there for a while. The Landlord-Tenant Commission, they met today at the Community Services Building. Not sure what they can really do. Burbank is working on a whole new commission and a whole new a commission with teeth and an enforcement division. So, until that happens, I don't know what they can really do. But they are going to talk about the soft story seismic retrofit ordinance. So I guess they're trying to do apartment buildings that they have, or 2-story apartment buildings. They're trying to make sure they're retroactively trying to refit. You get them not retroactively. You're trying to get a size to get them seismically fit. Because if you remember back in the Northwoods earthquake, a few of those apartment buildings, the first floor all caved in on some buildings. So it's saying that it's good to try to be proactive, because we all know another earthquake's coming. It's coming, and it's coming quickly. We just don't know when that's going to be. But if we did, it's funny when you look at your national, all your disasters. You have a hurricane coming. You got like 2-3 days notice. Here comes a hurricane. You can batten down the hatches and prepare for things, even evacuate. Even on a tornado, you have warning systems now and things on you can get warning devices that at least, hey, warning, here comes a possible tornado coming. Even now we have that app for earthquakes. It's at the best 30 seconds. Now, 30 seconds is still, I'm not going to argue, 30 seconds is still a whole lot better than no time. If you're in an elevator and you get that alert, you just get off the next floor. You don't be in an elevator during an earthquake. But it's still, you don't know what an earthquake can hit at any time. And by the way, just because we're having some hot days, there's no truth to the fact that earthquakes only happen when it's hot. It doesn't, you're looking 5-10 miles down underground. It couldn't care less what the temperature is on the surface. So don't let the heat be that means nothing. Even though, yes, it's not just hot, it's damn hot right now. So I got you. I found this interesting also. The Landlord-Tenant Commission is going to talk about making the flag salute a recurring agenda item. I have no idea what that means. Why do they want to put that as a recurring agenda item unless they're talking about making the flag salute part of every meeting? I don't know. I have no problem with doing the flag salute, and if they'd like to do it, I'm all for it. But that's a whole other subject. Tuesday, the city council is dark. Good, they can save the power. But what tomorrow also is National Night Out. And that's one of the great events every year in the city. And it's not because of anybody spending a lot of money to put something on. The city puts on a nice little thing over at Johnny Carson Park. And that starts at 5:30. And the police will be out there, the fire will be out there, and the different city organizations will be out there, community groups. It'll be hot, but it's always good at Johnny Carson Park. But here's the great thing about it. People in their own neighborhoods put together their own meetings. Not meetings, get-togethers. And they do potlucks. And they invite all their neighbors. And they all come out and they just talk. And they just, hey, what's going on? Hey, you heard about this? You seen that? And a lot of times, that becomes more of you get to know your neighbors a lot better. It's, the city council, the police, the fire, they all go around to the different neighborhoods and spend time at each gathering. So it's just a great event. It's a great way to get to know your neighbors. It's a great way to, and like I say, the police will be, ask questions. Ask questions. Get to know your officers, get to know your firefighters, get to know your city officials. They'll be out and around. It's a great day for everybody. So that's something that you can get involved in. If you're hearing this on Tuesday morning and you don't know about your neighborhood, call the community department of the police department and say, hey, I live in so and so. Is there any National Night Out things going on in my neighborhood? And they have a list of where they all are. So, why not? Why not? It'll be in the evening, so hopefully it'll be cool. Johnny Carson Park will probably be a little warm over there, but what do? You go with it. I'd rather have it be a little too hot than have it be A, cold or be raining. So we can live with the 90-degree evenings. What else is going on Tuesday? The Burbank Athletic Federation, they're going to meet at 6 p.m. at the Community Services Building, and they're going to get a report on the Civitan Jamboree that they had, I think back in June. So they're going to report on that. Wednesday, the Civil Service Board is scheduled to meet at 4:30 at City Hall. The Domestic Violence Task Force is scheduled to meet at 5:30. I have not seen an agenda or location yet. The Youth Board meeting has been canceled. I guess there's no Youth Board meeting when there's no schools in session. I think if you're going to be on the Youth Board, why not serve an entire year and serve in the summertime? I think being on having a Youth Board meeting 2 weeks before school opened would be a good idea, and be able to bring things to the school sites as school opens, So I think they should think about that. Moving on to Thursday. There's going to be a ribbon cutting and for our grand opening of Reset Spot at 3816 Magnolia. Now, I do not know what Reset Spot is. That's a mystery. So my advice is on Thursday, go over to 3816 Magnolia, find out what Reset Spot is. And if you can't make it on Thursday, go a different day after that. Check out a new business. Interesting. Also on Thursday, the Park and Rec Board is going to meet at 6 p.m. at City Hall. They're going to get an update on the capital improvement projects and talking about the replacement of playground equipment at Brace, Maple, and McCambridge playgrounds. So I guess that all three of those locations are getting new playground equipment, which is very good. We always wanted to have the best playground equipment. I do not know if they have sand in their playgrounds or if they have that new synthetic stuff they put on the ground. It's kind of rubbery synthetic type of surface. Kind of interesting. let's hope they have better playground. I know for back in the day, in a long time ago, back in the day at Verdugo Park, one of the pieces of playground equipment was a capsule, a rocket capsule they had sitting in Verdugo Park. And, I guess back then, because, you had the Apollo moon landings and everything else. So they put a toy capsule. I mean, it was kind of large, as big as a slide. And you go inside it and slide out of it and all those things. So that was the fun back then and when we were kids. Back in the day. Yes. Not a lot that you could really do to entertain us that we couldn't entertain ourselves. Didn't need the video games, didn't need all that stuff. All we had was our spaceship to jump into. Friday, quiet day. It's a quiet day. So we will talk about Saturday. Well, look at this. Saturday, we have another kitten. Wait a second. Did I say kitten? Yes, I did say kitten. Of course I know what I said. And with that word, kitten, is our word of the week. Okay, Johnny, tell them what we won. No. We haven't won anything yet. If you want to win, then send an email to contest@myburbank.com and put in the subject line, kitten. And we will pick out a winner for next week's prize, which, of course, is a $25 gift card to the Hill Street Cafe over on Glen Oaks. One of the great breakfast and lunch places there is in the city. So send off that email right away. So we have the kitten fair is going to take place once again. This is like the third or fourth time they've done it now at the animal shelter. It's from 10 to 2 at the animal shelter. So stop by there and enjoy the kittens. Get a kitten. I give you a little personal story. When I got my new dog. Two things in my life I've never had. One is a brand new car, and the other was a puppy. Well, I got a puppy, and I will tell you this. I'm glad I've done it, but I won't do it again. Puppies are tough in the beginning. You got to get them to, you have to get all your shots and all your vet visits and all that. And I got Dodger at 6 weeks old, and what a great dog. I mean, he's the greatest dog in the world. No doubt about it. Isn't everybody's dog or cat the greatest in the world? Well, Dodger's one of the greatest in the world. But, it's a lot of shots you have to get, and it's just the training, you have to get him, house trained. So, but now he's got 3 different doggy doors in the house he can get through anytime he wants to. I haven't had to get a trainer just to get dog walks and stuff, just to teach him how to walk. A lot went into it. Glad I did it, but that was my puppy. Now, I don't know about kittens. I do not think kittens are probably as high maintenance as dogs are. I would think kittens are probably, I'm sure they have their moments. I'm sure they like to go and scratch things and claw at things. Like dogs like to go and eat at things all the time when they're young. And I think kittens probably like to scratch things. So, every dog and cat has their thing. And it's funny sometimes how that's inherited in the animal. I'll give you an example. When I got Dodger's the only dog that I have here and once in a while I would give him a bone. And he takes the bone in the backyard and he buries it. Now, I've never taught him that. Nobody's ever taught him to go bury a bone. But yet, dogs have that instinct that they want to go bury bones. I don't know where that comes from. Nobody's taught them. He hasn't gone to doggy school to learn how to bury bones. So I think that's an interesting trait that dogs have, is that they have an instinct to go bury a bone. It'd be interesting. I don't know what instincts cats have, but I got to figure they've got instincts. And there's things that cats probably do that people who are cat people probably know. But anyhow, Why not pick up a kitten? Why not? If you don't have a dog, or you have, if you're a cat person, there are kittens out there who need you. We have a no-kill shelter here in Burbank, and that means a lot of animals are waiting to go somewhere. And hopefully you're the person who wants to take, if it's not a kitten, then grab a dog. I think they've got all sorts of animals. They got rabbits there. They've got all sorts of things at the animal shelter. Stop by and check it out. Also, finally, we'll get more into it next week, but a week from Monday, it's the return of school. School's back. And so with school coming back, a couple things. Number one is I feel sorry for the kids when it's 110 degrees out there, too. It's always tough going back in 110 degree weather, but hopefully it'll be nicer by next week, and the week after, I mean. But that and we talked about safer streets earlier. Well, we need to make sure that we're on the lookout for kids. When you're driving, and they're in a bike lane, you can't look down at your cell phone, because your car drifts over to the right a little bit, and you take out a bicyclist in a bike lane. You didn't mean to do it. And yes, it's an accident, but the fact is, you weren't paying attention, and look at the result. These kids are going, young kids, especially around elementary schools, are going to run out on the street. The speed limit is 25 around schools. So go 25. Look, get your head on a swivel. See what you can find out there. Kids, they're going to school because they're not educated. You are. If you're a driver or you're an older person, you have education. You understand what's right and wrong. But kids don't really know that yet. Especially you get your kids that are under first, second grade, kindergarten kids. Parents are looking out for them, but still, if a kid runs out of a ball runs out of the street, and a kid chases it. Anticipate those things. And also, if you're a parent, stop double parking in front of the schools. Come on now. That's what ties everything up. That's what gets people upset. All of a sudden, they're trying to get to school, and the cars aren't moving ahead of them because people decide they're going to double park. Not how it's supposed to be. I know that in a recent police commission meeting, the police talked about they're going to start work on drop-off and pickup access inside the school grounds, where cars can drive in, pick somebody up, drop somebody off, and then drive out another gate. Great idea. Needs to be done. Because I've seen too many times at the schools, the parents just want to double park. And once again, you double park, or you let your kid off. School buses cannot let off students across the street from a school. Okay, they don't want kids crossing the street because the bus blocks out the view. So they always make sure they pull up to the same side of the street the school's on. Also remember, if the bus has those flashing red lights on, you can't pass the bus. Okay? You cannot pass a bus that has the lights on and the stop and all that, going on with the bus. So, once again, take that into account. And if you live near a school and you have to go in the morning or something else and you don't have kids, think about, okay, you know what? For a while, I need to make sure I use a different route. I'm not going to go down that street with all the traffic and all the kids and all the things going on. Find a different route for, go block over, go 2 blocks, go block up and a block to the right, and then go down if the hill or down in wherever you are. But you don't need to go and be part of that problem. Okay. That's kind of my final thought on this. Anyhow, I think that's it again for the week that was, the week that will be. We will talk to you again next week. Thanks a lot for listening. Remember, please support the channel. If you can throw a like on for us, we would really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, We'd really appreciate a like. And we now have channel subscriptions also. So you subscribe to My Burbank. And we have some things coming up on video that I think you really will like. And they'll be exclusive things for you guys. So you want to help support our channel? You want to help support My Burbank? That's a great way to do it. We do appreciate it. That's it. We've done it again. Episode number 32 and season number 2. That's a wrap. We will talk to you again next week. Thank you so much for watching or listening.
Thank you for watching the latest My Burbank video. If you have it in your heart, please consider helping us by clicking on the super thanks down below. Or even better, go to our channel and consider a membership. Your support is what keeps My Burbank going strong.